This week, we saw an increase in the number of those quarantined because of COVID-19. Joining us to talk more about what is happening in Chautauqua County is Executive PJ Wendel. Sir, it's great to have you back on the program. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Justin.
First, I want to ask, we did see a day earlier this week where more than 90 people were entered into that quarantine protocol. Why do you think we are seeing such a big jump?
Well, one of the things we're seeing is that people are active and moving around more. So the jump in quarantine or isolation cases, those would be cases that are direct contacts or close contact of a known positive. So, as individuals are moving around more, we have seen more contact, and the numbers are a lot higher. As of yesterday, we had a total of 301 individuals under quarantine or isolation orders by the public health director. When we look at those numbers, the spike we saw on Tuesday, those were all prior to the 4th of July weekend, tests that were given or taken prior to the holiday. So, we have seen an increase in those. The numbers in contact tracing are from the contacts. So again, it's reminding everybody, we need to continue to be vigilant. One of the positions that I have taken in the support from the Assemblyman and our senator was asking Governor Cuomo for more phases. That does not mean we are going backwards by adding more phases. What it does, as we've talked about in our control room, is a phrase, expectation management. And that's what we're looking to do, is remind people that we continue to wear our masks and we continue to follow our social distancing protocols, because this disease is still here. The bright spot with this, if you look at it that way, is we do not have any hospitalizations. Now, those numbers lag about 2 days. So as of the 7th of July, we still have had nobody in a hospital or ICU with a diagnosis of COVID-19. So those numbers are very relevant when we look at the impact this is having on our healthcare system, which is something that was a concern from the very early stages. So the cases are up. We are managing the contact tracing. We are getting on top of this, and we are staying ahead of this, and we'll continue to do so as we have from the very beginning.
Now, specifically for calling for those new phases, what would you like them to look like? Have you discussed that with state leaders?
Yes, we have, and we've at length in our control room, and we're looking at where will nursing homes fit in. What we're finding out is not only is it the nursing home patients, the residents of the nursing home, that need that care from their people from the outside. We had a case where an individual called us and was very disappointed, had not seen her husband since the 15th of March. And he did pass away during that time. And it was very heartbreaking to hear her story. So it's not only the residents that need the love and affection of people, but it's also those on the outside who may have terminal illnesses or diseases, not able to see their relatives that are in a nursing home at the time. I've asked for special consideration, especially with hospice care patients. We know that is a unique sector of people that are in nursing homes or are convalescent care. So, can we look at that? And I'm sure if individuals are given the ability to hold or touch a loved one, even if it is through gloves, a gown, a face shield, and a mask, they will do so to make sure that those loved ones know that they're cared for. But the other phases, when I asked, we had nothing on the radar about shopping malls. As you know, shopping malls will open today as long as they meet the requirements from the new filtration systems. I have been in contact with them all. They are moving forward and getting up to speed on these new requirements from the state. I'm also looking at movie theaters, fitness centers, and gyms. Those are two big priority items that whether it's the YMCA's or YWCA's we have here in Westfield, or local fitness centers that have indoor facilities that are not able to get outdoors. We need to get them on board. And again, with that same premise of expectation management. What do they look forward to? Is it 2 weeks? Is it 3 weeks? Those types of things need to be understood. It helps everybody get through this. And also for those who've said, hey, we're in phase 4. What do I need to do this for? We're done. Aren't we out of the woods? No, we're not. We're still in those restrictive concerns when it comes to wearing masks and social distancing. So my premise was, do we look at the new phases to have a 3-week window? Obviously, broader businesses now. We're looking at schools in early November, nursing homes, movie theaters, gyms and fitness centers. Things such as bowling alleys are not able to open yet. So there's a lot of industry and businesses and people that generate revenue for our county that are not open. And we need to give them that expectation management as we move forward. So It's still in consideration. Governor Hochul's been very, she's been very appreciative, very supportive, as well as John Majori. He informs me that it's still being considered. So, my belief is we're going to move forward with this and hopefully, give others that expectation of when they can open safely and responsibly.
And on that point of schools, we've gotten so many people reaching out to us saying, what's going to happen with schools? Yes, summer vacation is on now, but September's not that far away. What type of plans are being discussed between school districts in the county regarding the reopening process?
Well, listening to everyone, of course, as you know, 25 years of prior to coming here has been in the school system. And, that's a big plan when you're looking at individuals from 4 years old all the way up to, teenagers, 18 and 19 that are seniors. That's a wide diversity of people. You have special needs students. You have, again, so many people that you need to consider and take into consideration, not to mention our staff, our teachers did, potentially have those comorbidities that need to be concerned. So I'm hearing a lot of different things. The school districts are looking at a wide array of opportunity or plans. I read in the paper, Mr. Penhollow from Faulkner stating, do we bring it back at 25%, 50%, 75%? The governor still doesn't have those ideas concrete, but he's asking for the school districts themselves to provide those plans. The other exciting news that came out of that is the governor potentially could look at a regional opening. So where one region may still be closed, where others may be open. Again, poses a problem, as we know, with our New York State regents and the Common Core, is how do we get everybody on board for those standardized tests that are given. But to that respect, I believe that it's also inherent that, we look at the individual areas, the regions, and how they would be able to open healthily and safely as we move forward.
And to that point that you made, you have a lot of experience yourself in education. Do you feel that if a region wasn't quite ready to open up schools in person, whether it be in a modified capacity or not, that education would continue just online? I know the governor has talked about how in some districts it's worked well, in some districts it hasn't worked well, but either way, the process needs to continue.
Correct. The education component needs to continue. There's no doubt about that. Education, online learning is not for everybody. Some people do very well with it. Others don't. There's others that need that social component. They need that interaction with the teacher. So that's challenging. And honestly, being a teacher in a classroom, they're able to walk around and monitor students if they're working on a problem, or the student can come up and ask them. In a Zoom meeting, it's very challenging for a student to, be able to engage or walk up and get that time. And a teacher isn't going to say, okay, we're going into a Zoom meeting and, you now have 40 minutes and we'll let you get working on the homework. If you have any questions, come see me. Really not applicable on a Zoom meeting. Sure, it could be done, but those types of things pose a challenge as to the in-person ability for teachers to interact with their students. And not to mention the offline time, many of us, as you know, Justin, after school and going in with a teacher or a small group, that you may all have the same questions, the same idea of how we're going to get to the answer, but that you may need the teacher's help in getting that answer. So again, education is different for everybody, and that's definitely not a cookie cutter process. So it's challenging to say that yes, every student will be beneficial with online learning. It really is as diverse as the districts, as diverse as the individuals themselves.
Yeah, and a lot of times too, as you mentioned, that sense of community is something that is more valuable than even the knowledge that comes out of these districts. Speaking of Faulkner School, teacher Rich Bianco announced yesterday that his annual Exponential Stars baseball game is a go for later on this month. That following a series of discussions with local officials. Now, as a former educator yourself, what kind of impact will having something like this, especially during these difficult times, have on the community?
I think, it's challenging. I haven't heard the details to that and to what extent, but I can tell you that speaking with the mayors and supervisors, those that are in, the positions of I don't want to say power, but the positions to make those decisions, are doing so wisely and very cautiously as they move forward. Some of these students, the exceptional athletes may have underlying comorbidities that need to be taken into consideration. So I understand that, if this is a go, it would have been taken into consideration all of those things to keep everybody safe. But really, if you've ever been to that game, it's a phenomenal interaction with people, and those kids just love getting out and engaging in that game. So hats off to Rich. He's done a phenomenal job with that game, and people are going to be leery of being in public, but people have to remember, if those events go on, we're not mandating people to go there. If you feel safe and you feel if it's safe enough for you to attend by proper social distancing, always wearing your masks, even when you're outdoors, those are the right things to do. And I think we need to give opportunity for those individuals as well, because we need that interaction. And special education students are really a highlight of our communities in the educational system. The kids they're engaging more and more, and it's just a great group of kids, and it's good for everybody. Just that camaraderie of athletics is great. But I know those leaders in those areas will do so with caution and safety in the forefront.
Certainly, and I know that at the county, you since the beginning of this have really stressed common sense, and that's something that you want the community to take away. Finally, here today, that message of common sense, how has it been to try to send that off to everybody in Chautauqua County and even beyond? Because there are people who come here to work who live outside, whether you live in PA or in Cattaraugus or in Buffalo or wherever it is. How has the effort to educate everybody, and what responses have you gotten so far?
Well, the responses are as different as everybody who lives here. Some people are very supportive. Some people say we've given a great message and we will continue to do that. Some people have questioned it and saying, we need to do more. We need to get out the information and educate people. And the information we give, and the reason again for today's press conference is reminding people, re-educating, maybe not if that's really the best term to use, but reminding people that we're still needing to wear masks and socially distance, and we're not out of the woods. Everybody has common sense. We all know that, and that's really what we're asking you to do is think, before you react, think before you do something. We all get that. This morning I got out of my car and walked to the door of the dry cleaner, realized my mask wasn't on, so I went back and put my mask on. And those types of things we understand are getting to be a natural. We've all done it. You've gotten there, and people are very quick to comply. There are some that are going to have their reasons for not wearing it, whether it's medical or whether they feel they're being violated with civil liberties, and everyone is entitled to that. We're not we're not questioning those ideas or those values. But what we are telling everybody is what you are doing is helping everyone. Helping you. It's helping your neighbors. It's helping people around you. And that's really what's key and important to this. We have done a great job as a community, as a county, working together through this. We have been united in our effort. We have been united in our message. Yes, people are going to be concerned. People may not be happy with things. But as we look at the prevalence and the low prevalence we've had here in Chautauqua County, it's a testament to everybody doing the right thing, or a vast majority, or 90 to 95%. But we are doing the right thing here in this county, and people are listening. And our message is very clear. It's very simple. We need to be vigilant. We need to wear our masks. And going back, our committee, brought the mask concept, and it was a day or two before the governor came about. We looked at this as a response team and said, hey, the masks I think are a good idea. There's no data that we've had at that point. This was early on, and we said, okay, we're going to start promoting, encouraging the masks, and lo and behold, within a day or two, that was more of a statewide resident. So again, people need to realize, the hardest thing is we're not out of the woods. And that's why, I've been pushing more for the extended phases to keep people, to keep it in the back of their mind that we are still, on, on a level of concern, a level of watchfulness, if you would say. And we need to be aware of what's going on. One of the things we just started here, we talked to our buildings and grounds people, and we've also added changing the filters here in our campuses to the new MERV 13 filters. And we're going to get that started as we bring our employees back. So, the county is stepping up and doing our efforts to, make sure that those who come to the county office buildings are safe. We started the process. It may take a couple of days, to implement everything. But, as we open again, starting as early as this Monday, we do have safety barriers up. We do have precautions in place. We do have screening methods. So, we are just doing this in a very common sense, very consistent message as you come into our county office buildings. And everyone's been doing that. having said that, Justin, we talked about Walmart's. Walmart's made a landmark decision in changing their protocols for this COVID case, especially here in New York State. So we met with Lakewood Walmart this morning. We're meeting with the Fredonia Walmart this afternoon. Sheriff Quattrone, myself, and members of the Department of Health, and really applaud them for what they've done. And of course, there's a lot of concerns. We got a lot of pause complaints. That's what started the setup of the meetings. And now we did see, there was a post on the internet that Walmart wouldn't let me in because I didn't have my mask. Well, okay, they're doing their diligence. They do have third-party security monitoring our masks. So the concerns that people have had, Walmart has stepped up and answered those concerns and are doing things in a very responsible manner. So, we're going to continue to do that. We dropped off some masks to Walmart, which we've done to other resident businesses in the area. So we'll be working to collaborate with everybody to help get through this. And, we still need to keep our guard up and still be vigilant.
Yeah, certainly. And as mentioned, later today, you and other county officials are holding a press conference update at 3 o'clock. We remind our viewers they can watch that live right here on WNY News Now. Chautauqua County Executive PJ Wendel, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me, Justin.